when I say the pace of grace is steady, right? Steady doesn't always have to mean slow, like you said. I can be going steadily medium, or I can go steadily fast if I'm understanding what it is that I'm doing. It just becomes very dangerous when we make decisions very hastily, because we want something. So, you mean to tell me that you'll get your hair done, your nails done, and your makeup done, but then you won't do anything to help you?
Girl, that math ain't mathing.
No. So when is it going to be the time that we stop working on the outer things and start figuring out the inner things?
Girl, I think the time is now. And so for you, I'd encourage you to strut over, slide over, get on through, getandstaymarried.com. Because what we have for you is not just this great conversation like we're having today.
Yes.
But it's an entire community to help you know and love yourself, but focus on what we put in and what we put on. So all our clients have a personal stylist, a year with a finance coach, a flexibility coach, a sex educator, because there's a lot of people having sex,
but they not good at it.
Oh, don't let that be you. So go ahead, sis, slide on through, getandstaymarried.com. But for now, back to the show.
Yo, what's happening? Welcome back to Romance and Real Estate, where we
help you level up in life, love,
and money, honey.
Man, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you've been empowered by a lot of our content. You know, we appreciate those who've been tapping in over and over and over and sharing our content as well. We appreciate it. With that being stated, make sure that if you haven't, you subscribe, you like, comment, give us some feedback. And just, you know, like we need all of that. Whatever we can do to improve this for you benefits you and us. So like we're here to make it a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
With that being stated, we actually were looking at some comments from some of our viewers.
Yes.
All right, talk to me. What they talking about?
We have a question from Ms. Diamond, and she asked, is it better to just get in the housing market with whatever you can get, or ride the wave for a duplex or triplex? Would you suggest living in one and renting one out? And all of this is as a first-time home buyer.
Got you. All right. So as a first-time home buyer, I would suggest to be patient until you can strike gold and get that multifamily unit.
Okay.
Preferably a triplex and a quad.
Okay.
Depending on your current situation, though, right? The reason I say this is because it is definitely harder to get a multifamily unit than it is a single family unit.
Okay.
But if you buy a single family unit as a first time home buyer, you are basically paying a mortgage. You do have an asset that is going to take you time to pay the equity down on. So, in essence, you have a loan on a property. You're not really a homeowner because you don't own it free and clear.
Right.
So there's a misconception there that just because you brought a home, that you really have an asset.
Right.
You've bought the asset at retail price. Therefore, you don't have equity.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, if you buy a multifamily home, picture me rolling. You know what I'm saying? And I bought the quad. Let's just say that the quad, easy numbers, the mortgage on it is $1,000. And I stay in one unit, but I have 3 other renters. That's $3,000 that the quad is generating. One tenant is paying the mortgage. The other one is paying the repairs, CapEx, and everything else, miscellaneous vacancy fee. All right. The fourth mortgage there is, the fourth the third renter is actually going to be giving the profit to you. You have now, by getting that quad, increased your income by $12,000 that year. Because now that's all income and you don't have a mortgage. You're living for free.
Man, that's a big flex. Now, would you realistically be able to get one tenant in a quad to pay for what the whole quad's mortgage
It just depends on where you live at. It just depends on the deal that you find.
So what locations would you think about where that would be more, just if you had to just think of a place?
All right.
You got to give them the whole flex.
So for a first time buyer, we have to look at their income. So typically you're getting 5X whatever you earn.
Yeah.
So I think that to be able to find that type of product, you're going to have to find it in markets like St. Louis. You're going to have to find it in Indianapolis, Ohio, Michigan, Tennessee, Alabama. You're going to have to go to some markets. California acquired may cost you $2 million.
Right.
So that's not feasible for this. But you may have to go to markets like that to actually be able to execute this. I'm not saying you cannot.
Right.
But I think it's a little bit easier because your purchase power on your first buy will allow you to accumulate the asset. If you're not in those cities, then I would say invest in one. Because if you had 4 units paying for your single family, it's going to work out best. Because you have to look at it like this. You were calculating that you saw that, hey, you made $12,000. You also don't have the $12,000 expense. So you profited $12,000 and off your $60,000, you get to keep that. So you really made 24.
Yeah.
So once you times that times 5, it's worth being patient.
Yeah.
That multifamily.
Come on now. Wow. It's worth being patient.
You're right. So that's why I would say get a multifamily unit first. It is going to be more challenging, but the benefit in the end is going to be very lucrative immediately. So let's talk about it, though. That $12,000 that you earned on the rental property now takes your income from being $60,000 to $72,000, which is going to increase your purchase power.
Right.
For
what
the
you do
next.
So now when you do get your forever home, you have more purchase power to be able to obtain a home that might have a higher market value.
Not only that, you actually get to tap in. So we talk about money all the time.
Yeah.
We really just want options.
Right. And
so now it opens up more options for the things you really desire versus settling for a mediocre home that you could potentially just now afford.
Yes.
I will kick you up out of here. Woo, child. So repeat the last part again. You said,
my Lord.
You said that you have more options. Because tell us why you got more options.
Because you got larger purchase power. So now you could go get what you really want versus selling for what you could afford.
And so in order to get more purchase power, you prepare. You slow down and you assess the market. You analyze what it is you were trying to achieve. You niche down. And then you prepared yourself to be ready when the right time and the right property was available.
Correct.
And preparation is just work.
Yes.
You did the work.
Correct.
You stopped.
Did my due diligence.
You took your time. You had to come up with a plan to figure out what the work was. And then you had to figure out how you were going to execute that work.
Yes.
And then after you executed that work, you were in a good position.
Correct.
And so would it be fair to say you paused? You didn't go so fast. You said you had to be patient to start off. You pivoted because everybody around you wasn't doing that. Most people, they want to get the white picket fence and the dog in the yard. They getting a forever home. They want to go ahead and say they a home owner, even though you just a loan owner. But ain't nobody talk about that. And then once you did those things and you prepared yourself, you were well positioned. Then when the deal was hot, you propelled. You moved with speed. Yes?
Correct.
That's fair?
Multifamily doesn't last long on the market.
Child, we off the multifamily. I don't know if you felt that breeze come through because that's exactly the simple 3P process we follow in Before Boaz.
Yeah.
It is pause, pivot, and propel. And it works well whether we talking romance or we talking real estate. It's so important to not be so sold into what the masses are doing. Because as you said before, if everybody's doing it, that's likely not what's going to profit you anyway. So we aim to be outstanding, but so many of us fear standing out. We don't want to feel left out. We don't want to be the one behind. But if you're going to do this play and go after a triplex or a duplex right out the gate, you're not maybe going to move with the same speed as others. But then others will have this mortgage that maybe they don't have much cash flow after they do pay their mortgage and the petty payments and everything that comes along with it. And please don't sleep on all the repairs and ongoing maintenance for a property. Because I remember my mother-in-law would say that a property is just like a woman. She always wants something. Love you, Alice. But the point is, whereas everyone around you may have their home, right? They're a homeowner. But then when they want to go do some things to get investments, they kind of anchored into this property and it's not bringing any money. It's just an expense. But what you're suggesting is, but if you're willing to be patient, if you're willing to step to the side, if you're willing to get a little understanding, if you're willing to learn a little bit about what you haven't experienced yet from people who have done this, get into some mentoring and get the process, get the play by play, then in fact, you'll move a lot faster than them.
Can't disagree.
And we have to be super careful about adopting other people's ways of living or standards of living.
And that's when I said that everybody just wants to get that house together.
That's it.
Right.
And the truth is, like, hold on, we could live for free.
Hello.
And make money.
Hello, somebody.
And then now you're getting the tax deductions that I talked about. Now you're getting the mortgage paid and you don't have to come out of pocket. Now you've increased your income. And now you could go leverage this home with the bank to go get other assets and or fulfill your dreams. Go borrow and go do your t-shirt company. Why? Because you have a hard asset that you could leverage with the bank.
And so instead of having this big mortgage and feel like you have to do this 9-to-5 or grind so that you can do what you have to do, you slow down and move. And real G's move in silence. You don't have to tell everybody, but you slow down, you put the strategy in place, you amass these assets that are allowing you to live for free, and then you can do what you choose to do. And now you have more peace and more joy. You have more happiness. Happiness being when what you think, what you do, and what you say are in harmony. Boom. But you know what? That ain't popular. Like when we get married, I just want us to get a house. I just want me and you to get a house, both our names on it, and we get a home.
I don't want a neighbor. I living in a duplex?
Right.
I don't have the same. It's not what we visualize, but it is what we want.
Right.
Wait,
it's the process.
But again, that's why I said we have to be careful adopting other people's standards of living because it could really not bother you in any sense. Like, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that. That's all I could. But then somebody else will be like, girl, y'all just had 2 kids. Don't you want your kids to have some yard?
Right.
Don't you want your kids to be able to be in a nice neighborhood? Don't you want to? Actually, no, that's not what's important in my family.
Right. It's important for us to have wealth.
And in understanding that there is, you get more back. You get more of a return when you take your time. That is the most unpopular statement that you can say out loud because we live in a microwave type of society of, oh, I want it. I see it. I want it. I got it. It's mine. And you like.
So I understand where that could get gray, right? Because I'm a proponent that, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and so that's because when you do something slow, you like, but you're learning. Then it becomes habit and you just do it over and over and it becomes very smooth. And smooth becomes very fast because now it's habit to just now. I do. So that's me agreeing with you guys. But I'm also a proponent of like speed, love, success. I think that the difference between average, great, and good sometimes is the speed of implementation. So like that's a little bit counter.
What are you implementing?
So when we're talking about real estate, right?
Right.
Action.
So I don't see it as counter though. When you said that's counter, I'm saying, well, if you're implementing a strategy that's been proven to work, you back over what you said in the first place. But what we're offering is speed with misdirection or no direction.
Like you doing it fast and wrong.
You're going nowhere fast.
Got you.
That's
like, but I'm saying people take those concepts that I just put even in the air. Kind of like I did basketball to relationship, and we apply basketball to the relationship, but it's different.
Right. Taken out of context, it doesn't have the same result.
Yeah. And so taken out of context and me saying that, sometimes I've been guilty of applying my business practices in my relationship.
And depending on what business practice that is, you might not get the result you want. Some of them go very well, and then others, not so much.
And
Agreed.
honestly, I can say the same thing is to be applied in relationship. When you are wanting to be in a good relationship, in a solid relationship, if you haven't come up with a strategy as of yet to be able to move forward, you can date however many people you want to date. You're going to be playing Russian roulette. Maybe I'm going to find a good one. Maybe I don't. We're going to see what we get. But if you actually slow down and do the work and come up with a strategy and get into community and understand what it is to have somebody in your life that has done what it is that you aspire to do, and you're taking leadership and guidance from them, then when you get out into the dating market and when you get out into trying to actually be in a relationship, then you actually have a plan. You're not just shooting in the dark with your eyes closed. And so when I say the pace of grace is steady, right? Steady doesn't always have to mean slow, like you said. I can be going steadily medium, or I can go steadily fast if I'm understanding what it is that I'm doing. It just becomes very dangerous when we make decisions very hastily, because we want something and it's a good desire, it's a good want, but we have no way to execute that thing in a way that we would really receive the results that we want. Right. We do that in dating sometimes. We do it sometimes when we're purchasing property, and then we sitting there, with our foot in our mouth, like, I don't think that this was the best. It was a good decision. It just wasn't a decision for you to make right now.
I have a question. What kind of tools could you give somebody to for them to identify that they move too fast?
We would start with questions. I mean,
what kind of questions would you put me or anybody under to kind of allow them to self-reflect on, bruh, you gotta wind down, because you're dealing with new people every day.
Yes.
And so you got to get to know them individually a little bit so that everybody's not put in the same pocket.
Right. So one exercise, I'll call it, one series of questions that can help narrow down where the challenge really lies is connected to something that we talked about earlier, which is, okay, because saying that someone is doing something too fast can easily come across as passing a judgment on their current activities, right? So if I'm just assessing and I'm getting an impression, my desire is now to understand what my client's impression is of these activities that she is not able to see right now. And we already talked about the Johari window and how sometimes you're blind to these things just by nature. So then I would just say, okay, what do you have to do? Make a list. Make a list of all the things you have to do. Let her list it all out. Okay, cool. You don't like these things. You like these things. What is it? We go through the list. All right. Now, other side, what would you choose to do? Like, forget the bit, what would you choose to do? Okay, how many of these are in alignment? How many of these are not? What actions did you take to get to these over here that you don't even want to be doing? How did you get here? What was the journey? What were the signs? What were the red flags? What were the warnings that you just sped by or you just ignored that now you can see because now you saw the outcome? But first, I have to help the individual, help the woman herself classify for herself what's not working for her. See, if I want her to understand that the speed might be the problem, I need her to at least agree that there is a problem. Sometimes, especially if we don't go from the coaching framework of asking questions and we come in with the framework of just giving advice, as Mike was saying, unsolicited. If I never thought I had an issue, I don't need your advice. So I have to first help you see that your actions are not getting you your desired outcome. And then once you would agree that, yes, I'm doing all this and I don't even want to do it. Exactly. And what would you like to be doing? This. Okay. And then how did you get here? And now that person took themselves on the journey to understanding the results of their decision making. And now they're more willing, because you just guided them on that, to say, okay, now what else you got? Okay, this is the problem. Now what's the solution? Now they're thirsty for it. Now they're hungry for it. But at first, just because I hear and my skills and training help me know that the speed is the challenge, if the client does not understand that, they're not going to be receptive to anything we say after that. So I want to be clear. We are not just about giving out advice because then our clients wouldn't get transformation. Also, we will be a crutch.
Yes.
And we don't believe in being crutches. We don't need our clients to be in our experiences for life. No, you come here, you get the insight, you get the training, you get the blueprint. We support you while you practice it and implement it. And then once you get it and you're steady, and when you were saying steady, meaning you're standing on something.
Yes.
In order to be steady, you have to be on something that is secure. Once you have that, now you can move forward with speed. But what you have out here is a lot of people trying to go nowhere fast, got a whole lot of speed. You're not standing on anything. You have no strategy, no blueprint. And then you stuck in the, this is what I have to do mode.
And I would say a good question would be like when a young lady says, oh, this is what I'm experiencing. I keep experiencing, I get with men, I like them, but then we get in the relationship and it just seems like they don't have an interest in me past a certain point. Okay. What does it take for them to get that amount of access to you? And so they think, okay, well, when I first meet them, I don't know them for, at least we know each other for 2 to 3 months. Okay, they know you from 2 to 3 months, and then they can get this, and this. Okay, when does the interest?
What is this, and this?
Whatever they are willing to give at that point.
Gotcha.
It's different from woman to woman.
Sex, access to the house, keys to the house.
Whatever they're willing to give.
Gotcha.
So then at that point, when they say, I'm willing to give this, and I have given this, and this, when did the interest start to decrease after I gave them this? Okay. So tell me what you think about from the beginning to the time that you gave to the time that he lost interest. And then they have to self-reflect and say, oh, well, it only took me this amount of time to give this person this much access to me, maybe giving this person this much access to me and this amount of time isn't beneficial for me.
Fair. Understood. That was heavy.
Was it?
Ooh. I mean, I'm just saying, there's a lot of conversation that I've had, 20s, even 30s, that, in college, I used to be in class, not focused, asking women, how long before how long do you think it's okay before sex? Things of that nature. And I mean, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
And then some dudes is like, oh no, I'm not waiting that long for the cookies. And this chick just be like, I ain't giving it up for 3 months. Then, and that kind of like, then you just, as a man, you just know where you're going, where you're not going.
Right. And I know we're going to wrap up here, but I have to say, we strongly urge our clients not to tell a man what you want him to do.
At all.
Because if you tell him 3 months, then on 3 months and 1 day, he'll be like, I'm here still.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, no, you don't need to tell him what he needs to do. We help our clients implement strategies, and really the time is arbitrary. If it's an individual who's saying, I'm reserving myself for marriage, then I got that part. If it's an individual who's saying, look, that's nice and holy, but that's not my way. Okay. Whatever your way is, it has very little to do with the time. It has a whole lot to do with what's been accomplished.
Yeah.
How much has this person qualified to get further and further and further with it? So when you were speaking in an earlier episode and you were saying, hey, in order to qualify with the lender for more, you have to have a certain type of reputation, right? Okay. So how did you determine that he got the keys to the house and the cookies and met your family? What was that based upon? Because he's still breathing and y'all still keep going on dates? Or is it that he is satisfying your qualifications? Because the resentment comes in when you feel like you've given all your stuff to somebody who never qualified in the first place.
And this is another reason why we encourage our ladies not to tell them what the qualifications are.
Right.
Because if you tell me what it is that I need to do to get an A, nigga, I'm going to give you. I'm going to do all of it to get an
A++.
Right. Y'all going to
star student. Star student.
But that
I've been a star student a couple times.
I bet she told you too.
And then
I bet she gave you a cheat sheet.
All right.
Isn't that I mean? Like, hey, bro, easiest path to resistance.
Exactly.
Did he just say easiest path to resist?
Yeah.
You know what? That's actual. Listen, ladies. He's telling you the truth.
Yes, he is. Yes.
You are giving the men the easiest paths to resistance, and they're going to take it.
With that being said,
Hey.
we want to welcome you and thank you for just keep coming back and watching us
Yes.
talk about romance and real estate. I hope you got some value though, both on the real estate side and on the romance side. I think that, if you didn't catch the prior episodes, you should. We're now leading up with tips and tricks on how to get the bag financially with real estate and how to basically, have and nurture the relationships around you properly in order to kind of manifest a life. Relationships are one of the most important things to us. And so I think that, we're doing our part. Make sure you do your part and tap in next week. Peace.